Hey Tyler, what's a good movie you've seen recently?
Well, it wasn't really recently, but about a year ago, I watched the movie Gone Girl.
Okay. Can you speak to that a little bit more? What happened in the movie?
In that one, Ben Affleck, I forget his main character's name. He is essentially a rich, hoity-toity boy, and his wife frames him for her own murder and runs off to try and become her own woman, I suppose, and get away from him. But then she kind of gets herself into her own circumstances because there's another male who wants her to rely on him and kind of gets a little controlling and kind of backfires on her in the long run as he tries to figure out what happened to her and also finds out that she's done this whole thing where she's framed him and she's still alive and wants to figure out why she's done that.
So, how would you say the main character in Gone Girl breaks traditional female roles in cinema?
Well, for one, generally in cinema, female roles are kind of docile and just go along with what the main character is doing. And I think the whole setup is like you really set up this person to be like a rich person who's probably gonna have rich person problems, but in reality, then like his trophy wife, as most of them usually are, um, flips the entire script on him and then like makes the entire movie about her and what she's done to him. So she essentially holds all the power because at any moment she could come forward and say like, "Hey, I'm still alive. I've done this thing," and he's innocent. Or she could have just faked her own death and not like the fact that he murdered her. So essentially, it's kind of put her in a position of power. She's using her own sexual identity and role in society to forward her own agenda, which usually society's view on women usually sets women back. So instead, it's kind of done the reverse for her.
Golden. And how would you say the male character in the movie subverts expectations for typical male characters?
Um, I wouldn't say he subverts much expectations. I'd say the whole movie is pretty much based around her subverting those like female expectations because he kind of sticks along the whole male tropes. He's easy to anger. He has a position of power in society. When this happens, he's kind of looked down upon. And I don't know. I don't really believe that his character really subverts the whole male stereotype. He kind of fits right into it.
Okay. How would you say previous audiences from like a different time, like a time in like 1968, how would they react to seeing a movie
Probably
like Gone?
angrily. They wouldn't have. I mean, it was a little. You're supposed to feel bad for him, but at the same time, not because he's kind of an asshole. So you're kind of doing both. But I feel like an audience back then, they would have just been angry at the woman for stepping out of her role in the household. She should be raising children and doing the housework, which is what she was doing. But then she decides that she wants to leave that,
She
and
show
probably,
resentment
huh?
for that life or that those tropes? Does she show resentment towards that?
I believe so. I mean, otherwise, why would she break out from there? I mean, she was essentially put in this position of just living this, living on a shelf, like as a trophy wife. Like her job was just to be pretty and then do what he said, pretty much. And so, I think that women back then would have silently really loved the movie, but not really say anything at the risk of having a fight with their husband, who would obviously be angry about it, because that's just what people did back then. That's what society was like. And luckily, that's changed, but probably would not have been well received back then.
Action. So what about this other guy, the other guy that she gets involved with after she runs away?
So this other guy is someone that she knew. It's been a while. I believe from high school or just from work. Someone who she's known for a long time that was kind of obsessed with her, and so she used her sexuality to kind of like get sanctuary from him. Like he knows what she's done. Like he knows that she like did like this flipperoo, making everyone believe that he killed her, and she makes him believe that he's like done all these horrible things to her, and that he's like, all right, well, I'll protect you. I'll make sure nothing happens to you. And she kind of just is looking for a place to hide out. And as she's there over time, he's kind of like really asserting like his dominance in that situation, being like, listen, like you owe me. I'm hiding you here. I could expose you at any time. And so essentially, she's while trying to escape a dominating figure of a male, she's fallen into another one who she thought she could play with, like in the palm of her hand. Which initially that was the case because if like she wanted something, he would essentially do it for her because he's also really rich, which is mainly why she goes to him, I believe. And so he thinks he's just gonna like he's gonna like take her away and like make her his and like assert ownership over her, but she's fighting back against that.
It's interesting that she uses typical tropes to her advantage.
Yeah, she
That
tries to play like the airhead woman and like
yeah,
do all this stuff and like feel bad for me because my husband is this parable person because he's a male, which is true most of the time. So not hard to believe. So yeah, she uses it to her own advantage, but it's a fun trope because it doesn't ignore the fact that those exist or try and necessarily subvert them, but she uses them to her advantage, which is more fun to watch because that gives some women some ideas.